Hello and welcome to the first ever episode of Uncle Jester's presents Chelsea Family BBQ. I'm here with one of my great panelists and now co-host, Josh. Josh, how you doing this evening?
Yeah, I mean, doing much better now. Obviously some positive news over the last couple of hours in regards to Fofana. Um, so yeah, man, doing much better. It's a great way to start the Friday. Uh, I read something that they're going to try to have him sit in the in the stands tomorrow and do some cheering with the boys. So
Oh, that's
it
awesome
should
if that
should
happens.
be
That's
should be fun. Yeah, that's great news on.
talk about banter. So before we get into it, to dropping the link in the chat and having you come on and having your say and us judging what you bring to the barbecue. Me and Josh are going to talk a little bit about Wesley Fofana and what it does for our team and maybe some business we're going to do before the end of the transfer window, which is next Tuesday. I think Tuesday, what 11:59 p.m.
Yeah, the
UK
first
time.
the first yeah, I guess the first at midnight. It's
Yeah,
You probably have some time. Like, I think there's a window where you can have like paperwork submitted that can come after midnight, but you have to have like certain primary paperwork
right.
done before midnight, and then they'll let you file the additional stuff after. But uh, hopefully you're not in one of those like deadline last minute
A
kind of
Sowell.
sagas. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Danny
Uh,
Drinkwater, those kind of guys who come at the very end.
no,
Uh,
yeah, we don't need to have any more of that. But yeah, of course, Fafana is the guy that we've all been waiting for to complete the defensive rebuild.
yep.
So we basically have Emerson out, Marcus Alonso in limbo. We don't know, but
Out
I
though,
don't see
essentially.
he's basically gone. Um, Rudiger, Christensen, and we've replaced him with Koulibaly, Kukureya, now Wesley Fofana.
Yep. Big
And
time.
I would say if you're comparing those players, that's an upgrade
Right.
across the board. Um, for me, that's
Nobody thought Wesley Fofana was going to be available at the start of the window. Nobody. He was in people's like dream lists. Like, oh, if you could just get one guy, maybe like a dude like this. But he's just signed a new deal. There's no way he's available, and they just went and got him. So it's a huge win.
you know what they say in the construction business: money talks and bullshit walks. And we made that money talk today.
Yeah.
Um, so potentially, of course, we have Aubameyang that could be also on the cards.
Yeah.
They're saying now, of course, it was all of we can't meet the valuation, and now it's he wants 2 years and we're only offering one,
Yeah.
and we
That's
were
got to
told
be
before it was
complete cap.
3 years.
Yeah, I would call that waffle because there's no way the club would only be offering him 1 year deal when they're going to spend 20 million on him. You don't buy a guy for 20 million and give him a 1 year deal. That makes no sense. So, and I reread a few days ago that personal terms were already done with
Yeah.
Aubameyang. So I think it's mostly just like doing the final touches on the deal with the clubs, but he'll probably be on a 3 year deal. I don't know, maybe like a 3 and a 1, who knows, but. Uh, Definitely, there's no chance that it's like this is lingering because the club offered him 1 year. They would never spend that money on him to pay him
Yeah.
for 1 year.
Yeah, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. And like I said, they've been reporting we're gonna label all media they. They've been reporting that the
Yeah,
personal terms were done. It was two
yeah,
fifty a year, or 250 a week, and it was a 3 year deal. Was what I
yeah,
from my understanding. And now they're saying no, 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 no. It's just we only want to offer him one. Well, that doesn't make any sense. How can you
yeah,
report the previous thing I just said and now say no? It's only a 1 year deal.
yeah,
Does that make a whole lot of sense to you?
yeah. No, and I think what they're doing now is because he flew back to Paris for a day or two to be with some family to like I guess hang out and see some family. There's nothing there really with the story. So it's like, well, we got to put something out there about what might be holding it up. Uh, but yeah, I think the personal terms have been done for probably a week or so now. It sounded like Barca wanted to start around 30. We wanted to start around 15. and
Right.
they'll meet somewhere in the middle there, maybe 20 plus 3, or just a flat 20, and that'll be done. I think probably, hopefully tomorrow, over the weekend at
Yeah.
least.
Well, it can be done Monday for all I care because he can't play this weekend anyway. So it's
Right,
not
right.
like there's some we can let it go for a couple of days. Of course, the other player we've been heavily linked with is Anthony Gordon from Everton. It's caused a lot of uproar in the fan base. I'm sure we'll have somebody come on and talk about what they've now labeled the albino Cho.
The prize.
So again, looks like a good young player. Of course, not put up killer numbers yet, but I think from what I've seen from him, he's been very, very. He's got a very good skill set, and a skill set that Tuchel likes to see in his forward line. And so sometimes you have to look and project about what he's going to do once he's in the squad, not as how he's looked at Everton. Of course, they've had their issues, and we won't even go into what's going on there. That looks like that behind me right now. That's a bonfire. So yeah.
Yeah, with Anthony Gordon, like I know obviously what's the one thing you see online, the biggest criticism is the price. Why would we ever spend that kind of money on a 21-year-old Anthony Gordon? Which that to me has never been an issue because he's going to be on one of those 6+ 1 year deals. So if you amortize that fee out if he pans out, right, so over the length of his contract, maybe even an extension if he does really well, it really becomes nothing at the end of the day. We want him to be good, so the idea is that at the end of the day, it would be a great deal. And we've seen how inflated the market is right now. Ajax are in a spot where they're actually turning down 90 million pound bids for players, which is just mad. A guy who hasn't even hit, I don't think, 10 goals in the Eredivisie yet in his career.
No.
So if you get a chance now to get a good player that the manager really likes, which I also like him quite a bit. If you really watch him, he does, like you mentioned earlier, literally everything that the manager loves. People will call it being a passion merchant or whatever, but no, I mean, he runs, he chases the ball, he attacks, he's really good at turning over the ball. And then he's got he's got some really great feet for his age. Sometimes he may be kind of he rely on his pace a little bit, which I think he's also shown over his time. But I think he's a really good player. I don't know that they're going to get a deal done. Frank did sound today like he's, I know he's not going to come out and say that they're open to negotiating, and no manager will say that, but he sounded like he wanted to keep him. And I don't know. Hopefully it is something that get done. If not, that's a lot of money that you can put in other places or in other players that we've talked about too. But, I do really like the player. If they get the deal done, I'm all for it. But there's good plan Bs.
Yeah, I agree. And going to that plan B, you can't really call it a plan B. Plan B being Rafael Leao. Right, that's a great plan B for me, man.
Plan A plus, man, if you can. Right.
Yeah, of course he is going to probably end up costing a release clause. Maybe you can do something with Chalobah there because I know they want him on loan. I wouldn't mind if that was a permanent deal. Ziyech as well, and maybe that's why they quote such a high price to Ajax, so they can maybe use him in that, or use the money they would get from him for Leao.
Yeah.
So you can kind of lower some of that cost as in we brought in this amount of money. I know net spend's kind of a myth, but at least if you bring some money in for FFP cause, you can show money coming in and not just going out. So Rafael Leao, thoughts on him?
Yeah, I think another thing that evaluation from us of Ziyech does, it gives us, and it makes us show like if we did want to negotiate him into an AC Milan deal, it's like, well, he's worth this. So like that's how much we'll take off of that Leao deal. But yeah, I would love Rafael Leao. I think he's an awesome young talent. Maybe one of the best young talents in Europe. I mean, there's not much to not like about him. If I'm being honest, when you watch him, he's really fun to watch. When people say our forwards aren't creative, like he's, kind of the definition of that. He's very, very fun to watch. Yeah, it does sound like Milan want the release clause, the full 150, which if they're just trying to tempt us or dare us to do it, like I don't know if that's a good idea for them, because I think Todd Bowley's shown he might actually slap the 150 on the table and be like, he's ours. I know there's been some issues. I think Leao owes his former club Sporting. I think he owes them 16 million from a lawsuit, an agency lawsuit, and he hasn't paid that yet. And I think Chelsea have told him that they'll take care of that for him when they negotiate personal terms with him. I think he knows that. His agent is George Mendes, who at Chelsea have been building a relationship with this whole window. Everyone thought maybe it was for Ronaldo, but it turns out maybe the whole time it was for Leao. So maybe there's some stuff to be done there. Like I said, you said earlier, we have a whole week all the way down till 12 a.m. on the 31st. So yeah, for me, A+. If you can't get Gordon, that's an additional money you could put towards Leao. Same with Frankie de Jong. If Frankie de Jong decides he wants to, take a pay cut, and we've seen the memes and the jokes today online about that. If he does indeed decide to do that, then that's another 80-90 million that you could throw towards a Leao deal as well. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I love the player. If it's just down to like, do you like him? Yeah, absolutely.
And for me, Leao, I know some people's concerns was, well, he plays left wing. We brought Sterling in for that. But I think ultimately Tuchel would like to play some variation of a 4-2-2-2.
Yeah, he's one of the twos, baby.
He would be one of the top twos.
Yeah.
Because I think he's actually better as an inside forward myself.
Right.
I see him a lot like, he reminds me a lot like of Aubameyang, actually.
Yeah, but with maybe more tech, more a little more flair to his game. But yeah, very similar the way he moves. Yeah.
So I could see, you pairing him with a Kai Havertz up front or an Aubameyang up top, whoever is still here in a year or so.
Yeah.
And then you put Sterling and somebody else behind as the attacking mids / wingers, because you can very easily make a 4-2-2-2 into a 4-2-4, right?
Right, absolutely, yeah. Which he's done already this year in a couple of the games, and that's where I think a guy like Mason Mount too fits better. If you're talking about like once the team is complete, and if he does ever want to make a shape change, that's where a guy like Mason Mount could really thrive in something like that, where he doesn't have to worry about being the creative attacker. He can just sort of do his thing. If he gets one, he gets one, but the things he does well will really pop at that point. But yeah, he does. He solves a lot of things for me. I haven't talked much about Sterling. I know that I haven't really been doing much streaming, but I know there's been some talks about he hasn't had a goal or an assist, or he has an assist. He hasn't had any goals yet in the first 3 games, but I think by far he's been our most threatening guy, like in every game. I mean, he should have scored last week.
Did score, but it was offside.
Right. Yeah, he finished, right? That's what, and it was a good finish. But for me, like, he's doing everything. I'm absolutely been happy with him. He's been really, really threatening, and really showed like a knack for goal, which some of our other guys haven't been doing. So if you get more of those creative guys on the pitch with him, I think he'll shine for sure in something like that.
Yeah, I agree. So we're going to go in depth, folks. We'll go in depth on three Yanks and a Brit after the game on Saturday, or it might be Sunday, depending on what everybody's schedule looks like. But I wanted to throw that stuff in because it is breaking news for the club, and we needed to talk about it because, hey, we're here to tell you what's going on and give our opinions on it. So on that topic of giving opinions, this is how Chelsea Family BBQ works. Okay. I'm going to drop the link in chat. Everybody in chat, whether you're a Chelsea fan or not, are invited to the barbecue. We don't turn people away. Here's the thing. When you're backstage in the private chat in the back, you're going to tell me what your topic that you want to talk about is, and you need to rate it, right? And this is where the barbecue puns come in. So if you think you've got a strong argument, you might say I'm bringing steak. Okay. If you think you've got a little weaker argument, or if it's not, a huge topic, maybe you're just bringing, hamburger or hot dogs or potato salad, or maybe you're just bringing a couple beers in. That's fine. You rate it on how strong you think your argument is. You'll come on. It'll be just me and Josh and whoever it is at that time. I'm not going to bring a huge panel in because we want to focus on the argument at hand. You get to debate, me and Josh, and then we're going to rate your debate. And so we'll either do that here in the panel or drop a poll in chat. Might do it in the panel first, just to see, Or you know what? I can do the poll. I see it now. It's not in StreamYard. It's on YouTube itself. And then you'll get rated. Is your argument what you said you were bringing, or did you bring something that's not even close to that? And of course, if you don't come to the level that you tell me you're coming, we're going to roast you instead. All right. Steak better be rare. That's how I like my steak. Ain't no better way than rare. So. I think Josh is pretty much ready to go. He might be.
Yeah. I'm all good. I'm all good.
Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and drop the link. Look, I know most of you in here. I've seen you in here before. I don't think we're gonna have a problem with somebody coming in just to cuss or say a racist thing or anything else. If you do that, just know that you ain't never coming back on my channel. All right. It is what it is. I'm not about that at all. We're here to have an adult conversation, and so I expect you to act accordingly. So let's do this real quick. Let me get this link dropped into chat. And there you go. There's the link. There is not a I'm not going to make you get on camera. So if you don't have a camera, that's cool as long as you have a good connection with audio. We're hoping this is going to be a weekly thing. So yeah, there's the link. Again, let me know what you're going to talk about, and we'll go from there. Yeah, while we're at it, smash the like button, share the channel out. Oh, the first guy we got on, Andrew, aka the Winter Surfer.
Yes, sir.
What's going on, my guy?
What's up, buddy?
What's up, guys? Looking
How
good.
you doing, man?
Looking good. I'm crashing the barbecue like a wedding crasher. So ain't really nothing. Just point me to where the beer is and leave me alone. That's all I'm saying.
All right.
It sounds like the beer is Fofana right now.
So
yes.
What do you want to talk about? What, you got a topic in mind you want to discuss with us?
I want to discuss this weird now report that Man United are now supposedly after Aubameyang. They've just come out and said United have gone in for Aubameyang again, and also that apparently the reason we're stalling is personal terms, which is crap. So right. I don't know where the personal terms. I think it's about the fee, really, and that's trying to include Marcus Alonso in this
right.
deal. this cockroach who won't leave. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think
it just won't get rid of. He just won't leave. I swear he's just gonna be there, isn't he? Somehow on September the 1st, UK time, 11 p.m. I'm not gonna see Alonso leave. It's just not gonna happen. He's gonna see out his final year, something like that. It's just not gonna happen. But the Aubameyang thing, yeah, it's a bit weird. I don't believe this Man United report. Suddenly, I know Martial's injured, but
Is he injured again?
yeah, apparently
he's Achilles.
Achilles trouble.
Yeah.
So
That dude can't stay fit.
no.
Yeah, I mean, I hadn't heard that report, so that's new. But yeah, I can't imagine. Yeah, I totally agree. We talked about it a little bit earlier. The personal terms thing that's been done for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, maybe they are trying to work Alonso in. If they are, I mean, I don't really know why Barcelona want Marcos Alonso. I don't even know if they really do anymore. It's like, it's hard. But the good thing about that is I don't think you have to worry about seeing him this season. Good, with us or not with us.
I just think I don't know because apparently they registered Koundé today. So
Yeah, we don't know how that happened. That's some voodoo magic
exactly.
right there.
Apparently, and Depay is staying, or is not left yet because he's moved to Juve, broke down. But somehow they registered Koundé, even though we were told like one of Depay or Aubameyang needed to leave by the same people as well. And it's like, what is? It just doesn't make any sense. I'm sorry, a book's not good enough. There needs to be like a trilogy movie about Barcelona's transfers this summer. Just the
there was
Netflix series or something.
There was actually. I think Michael Douglas played it in the 80s. What was it? What was the movie about being an investor?
Oh, Wall Street.
Wall Street. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly what. There's some back dealing. There's some BS going on right there. I don't know what accountant they use, but I want to find out so I never have to pay taxes again.
Yeah. All this like the situation where they create their own company to buy basically their TV rights or something like that. No one said anything about that, La Liga or UEFA or anything. I don't expect them to either. But
all they did was make them pay a tax on it, which is like, what? It still feels like that's an illegal thing to do, even besides the tax,
Yeah. They are.
You set up a shell corporation to funnel money back into the club, and all they made you do was pay a tax on it. It's like, okay.
I'm pleased the Fofana deal's done.
Absolutely.
I was thinking it wasn't going to be done till like Tuesday or like Wednesday or something like that, and we'd be haggling on to the last day because I think they're gonna spend big again next week. I think they're gonna spend up until the transfer window, or they're gonna try to anyway. I think they're not gonna rest. They're not gonna rest as much as people don't like it, or like I tweeted out earlier. It's not that you're questioning Tuchel's talent ID. It's just that you don't like the player he wants. Just admit that. Just admit it. You're not questioning his talent ID. You don't like the players he likes. That's the difference.
I agree. I totally agree with that. It's Tuchel's great until he wants to buy somebody you don't like.
Yeah.
And they're going to pay a fee you don't want to pay. Again, you're going to overpay when a club does not want to sell the player you're trying to buy. You're going to have to pay more. It's like anything else. If you go to buy a painting and the owner of that painting doesn't want to sell it, you're paying more than it's worth until you hit the number that says, okay, well, now I'm ready to sell that painting. It's the same thing with contracts. And people need to understand, Fofana, they didn't want to sell. We had to pay. We had to hit their nut until they said, okay, we're good. Same thing with Anthony Gordon. You're going to have to pay over what he's actually valued if you want him. And the same thing with Man United with Anthony. They're overpaying, way overpaying.
Yeah. Big time. I mean, for sure. Because with Gordon, it's like that's Everton's best player and their future. Basically, he's 21 years old. So, like, if they had a, if they don't want to mortgage that, then you got to pay them something that will make them reconsider that. So
yeah, I don't think
it's all, yeah.
94 million euros is enough. 94 million pounds, they'll probably sell it for 94 million euros. And plus, they don't need to sell. Do you want to know why, Man United fans? You already gave them 60 for Martinez already this summer, so they're covered because they do what Dortmund and Munich do, and pay for little players in the Eredivisie. They pay a little Eredivisie and boost them up to sell on. It's what they do. You've already literally covered their budget. They've covered all their budget already,
no question.
So they don't need to sell on the cheap. So overpay for him. You're going to have to, especially now. We are not in the last week now. We're in the last 5 days now of the transfer window. That's what it is. So now we're going to see now Liverpool coming out tonight. Klopp saying, "Oh, he was wrong about a midfielder." That will step up. They'll try and step up and try and buy a midfielder. Probably won't. And then you've got Arsenal still looking for stuff. We are still looking for stuff. You know what I mean? So we're probably going to spend probably over 100 million pounds more. Next year.
We've got the 15 million euros for the Russian kid, which is fine with me. I'm not bothered by this because it looks like we're buying some of the top talent around the world in the 18, 19-year-old. They're not really. I don't classify those as Cobham because they're not really at Cobham. They're with the under 23s. And I think we'll see them in cup games possibly.
Chukwuemeka, I watched them play today. I watched the PL2 team play, and he was really, really good today. And he played, I think, I don't know if he went a full 90, but he was very, very good. You could see the stuff that they like. He should have had an assist. Mason Burstow kind of like push one by the goal, but he was very bright.
But that's why the 6-year deals are like.
6+1. A lot of them are 6+1 too. So you got. I mean, you're talking about 7 years. You're
going to loan them out for at least one of those years, maybe even 2. So you're going to loan them out, aren't you? That's why it's 6+1. And some of these players are going to go out on loan, at least 1 year. Maybe the goalie. Maybe
well, so he's already on loan.
But when he comes back,
he's back.
Maybe he goes out for the rest of the season on loan somewhere. You
it's possible.
presume that. I don't know.
I think what we'd have to like with Slonina, depending on what happens. It sounds like at this point Kepa's going to end up staying. I know you don't like that, but I think he's probably going to end up staying at least probably for this year.
That's why.
Well, and it's also
no one wants to pay for his wages.
We also don't have, I think, the budget to go buy like a suitable number 2 either. So it's like one of those tough situations where it's like it's not necessarily a spot you have to spend in. You already invested for the future there. Like Slonina could come back in January and then go on maybe like a championship loan for 6 months for the second half of the year.
It'd be
but
interesting.
I think
go ahead, now, Josh, what to do with Mendy's contract now? Because I wouldn't really extend it at this moment in time.
That's on Mendy. I think he's got to earn that extension if he wants it.
There was talks like a week ago that they were back in discussions with him. I would hold out. I would really hold out because I think he's got, as I said, I think he doesn't see him and Tuchel don't see Kepa as competition. I believe at all. That's why I'm trying to get rid of him. But I honestly truly believe that, and that's why he doesn't see him as competition either. And that's why that's why he's on this slope. I think we needed to buy a goalkeeper. We probably won't. It's the least of our problems so far. If he doesn't do well, a goalkeeper would be near top of my list next summer. To get, because it's just the most. We can get a goalkeeper to last us 5 to 7 years without any trouble, like a Czech, like a Courtois, then we're fine in other areas. And then you build up this Slorina kid as well, build him up, and have him eventually take over.
For me with Mendy, I think what you have to do is you have to see if you like, do you like him at least as a keeper? Because if you do, then maybe you can, and depending on how much money he wants, you could give him an extension, and he becomes maybe your backup, and then for the next couple of years, with a guy like Slonina comes in and really takes off, maybe he could be your number 2. Or if you go buy another keeper, like a more experienced keeper, Mendy could still be your number 2 if he decides to take like a certain wage. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely a question mark. I mean, he's just got these flashes. Sometimes he looks really, really, I mean, he's really quick with his hands. He does make some great saves. He just made one the other night, but
question for
too many mistakes.
Question for Fana though. Do you think we try and get him signed and registered so he plays some part against Southampton, or
No, he
And I
will
know
be
he's-
registered.
Oh, for
do you
Tuesday?
think- Do you think?
Oh,
do you
he'll
think
start. I think he
plays-
starts. I think he starts
some
straight
part?
away.
Or he comes off the bench or something like that.
Well, who else are you going to play at that? I don't want to
That's
see
the-
RJ at center back. We
that's-
need him
that's-
going forward.
Yeah.
And RJ will be at center back tomorrow. Like that, right? I think Tuchel's shown right now until Fofana comes in, like RJ is going to play right center back. Once Fofana comes in, obviously that changes. But
I
I
try
think,
and get this done. I try and get this deal done after the game or on Sunday morning at most. I try. And
oh
get it
yeah,
on
it's probably
Sunday.
done. I bet they're done tonight.
Yeah,
Um,
I'd get it announced Sunday, get him done, get him in training, and Sunday, Monday, see how he does to play some part.
who's the game Tuesday? Don't we play Tuesday?
Southampton.
Okay, yeah, he starts that game. I think as soon as he comes into the team, he starts straight away. He hasn't. It's not like he hasn't been playing football. He's still been training, and he's only not starting for Leicester because of what's going on. He comes right into the team for me.
I think you're right. But it's just I love how these Chelsea fans and other fans worry about how much we're spending. You know, it's just it makes me laugh. I just laugh. So good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that I don't care at all about. I'll spend all the money, whatever you gotta do. Like just make the team. Like they already just built. We just built one of the best back.
You guys got more expertise in bowling than we have. These English fans. But you know these guys aren't going to rest. They're going to go for the highest. They're going to get sponsors. Every part of Stamford Bridge and the kits will be sponsored. It will look like one of those Formula One uniforms. You know what I mean? It's all like sponsored. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about. And I keep reminding people, free. This is the last season of the free sponsorship on the front shirt. This is the last season. They're going to go out for a mega deal on that front sponsorship.
This is one of those times where like I wouldn't mind having Chevy as a sponsor. That gold badge would look nice with the blue, you know, so it kind of goes with it. But no, you're right. Like they're definitely this is exactly what he did when they took over for the Dodgers. They went and got the best players in the world in baseball. I mean, they just built like a real big super team. They sort of like and you know, they got rid of their youth system guys in trades for the best players, and they paid them big money to be there, and they've done a fantastic job as a team. So it wasn't a huge surprise that he would come in and do this. We'll get great. We already got our sleeve sponsorship, the whale fin. That's already double what our last sleeve Hyundai sponsorship was. I think we're on 30 million. I think Hyundai was paying 14. So you know, they doubled the sleeve sponsorship, and you got to imagine they'll do something similar with the main sponsor on the kit next season. It'll be a huge deal. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think so. I think that the people really, of course, everybody wanted to see the downfall. I guess he had to go.
Didn't put anything in the chat. I don't know if it's just a connection issue or something.
Oh, he was in the closet though. You see, he saw him in the closet. I think he was hiding.
Oh my God! So many things are going to happen on this channel. It's unbelievable. Football chat. Josh falling out the closet, something like that.
Oh no! But you know, everybody wanted Chelsea to have to deal with what they've had to deal with. Now, I don't agree with United and Arsenal fans when they are so against their ownership groups. I think money spent, they're up there with us.
Before we spent that 200 million or 250 million in 2020, Arsenal had outspent us by hundreds of. It wasn't even close. They outspent us every summer. He's back. Yeah. They outspent us every summer.
Sorry, I backed out for 2 seconds.
So,
closet Wi-Fi, Josh, man.
Closet Wi-Fi.
No, I went to read something in a message, and it kicked me out of the feed.
Okay, sure. You didn't drop that beer, huh?
No. Never.
Oh, I mean, they really. It's really a weak argument when you just we're not playing well, so who would you blame? Well, our ownership is not of the same nationality as the team, so they're easy targets. But
Yeah, Man United
just-
spend a
I
ton
just-
of money. That's a weak argument. They invest heavily into that football team. Now, you can argue that people making the decisions on where to and who to invest the money in are an issue, but I don't think that's. I mean, I don't know if that's what all you can ask from an owner at this level is that they will invest money, and they definitely have shown that. Certainly not in players that I would want ever spend that kind of money on, but they do that. So
It's like with our midfield issues. If we don't buy a midfielder, I'm not blaming Bowley. I'm going to put. You know what? Unless two comes out and Kakri says I wanted a midfielder, it looks like he doesn't want. He thinks his midfield's fine. Therefore, I can't then give him leeway when inevitably happens and Kovacic and Kante are out again sometime this season. I'm going to say I'm not going to accept any excuse. I'm not going to accept any excuse when it comes to midfield because it looked like you were suggesting you were fine with everything in our midfield. So therefore, that's on you.
Yeah.
Really. And that's why I can't go. Nothing will make me blame. I didn't blame Roman for. The only ever time I've really gone against Roman is when he sacked Ancelotti. That's the only time I've gone. No, you're wrong. You're straight up wrong here. Do you know what I mean? I can't back you on this. Otherwise, I'm not. But I'm not going. If we have poor results after this transfer window, I can't blame Bowley. Why would I? I forgot the other guy. Who's the clear leg guy? I forgot what his name is. But I can't blame him.
Egbali.
I can't blame him. They're going to put nearly £400 million into this side. Without that's separate even from the stadium money, and separate from what they're going to probably upgrade the training ground as well. Do you know what I mean? I can't blame them for doing that. That's not right. That's not fair. It's just an easy cop out.
And really, if you look at the United and Arsenal situation, they're very similar. They had long-term coaches who ran that system for years. It was their way or the highway. Everything was, and then they left.
Yeah.
And what you find out with a long-term management like that under one person is it's really not as rosy as everybody thought it was. I mean, I know you can't talk to Arsenal fans about, well, you can, some of them about Wenger, because some of them at the end were like, get this guy out of my club. But Sir Alex Ferguson, he's the idol to them. They probably saying their prayers with a picture in front of a picture of Sir Alex Ferguson. So you really can't. Yeah. But the thing is this ownership group was there with Sir Alex Ferguson.
Yeah,
if I'm
been
correct.
There since 2005. It's been there summer of 2005.
Yeah. So is this more of maybe they left too much in Alex's hands?
I listen, they spent money, right? They've spent money. There's no way I'm having this thing of, it's the fact that later years they haven't, the people they've left in charge, because remember, they don't do the transfers.
Right.
To Ed Woodward or whoever, like Murtaugh now.
They simply finance it. Yeah.
They give a budget, whatever, or they give do it like they're doing now, and they say, "Here you go spend it whatever." Because remember, they bought Jadon Sancho, whatever you think of the price. They bought Harry Maguire, whatever you think of the price. They backed every, maybe not every manager, maybe David Moyes didn't back, but they backed every manager. I mean, they bought Pogba back for 90 million. They bought Zlatan in on a free, and his wages would have been astronomical, even at that age. So you can't go, oh well, it's not this. The difference is from maybe Kroenke, because it's not really talked about if he does. They take money out, right?
Yeah.
They take money out, then that's why we had that put in our. That's why Roman had that put in the contract whether to go, but they can't take money out for 10 years or so, right?
Right.
But
see, I don't even really have an issue with that if they continue to invest. It's like if you continue to invest, then you can take out some profit. I'm all right with that. But it's not like
the stadium's done, Josh. When the stadium's done, do not think these guys are going to rest on just having football matches at the stadium.
No, absolutely, and they shouldn't. They shouldn't.
No.
They shouldn't.
They're going to probably try and get them in on an NFL deal if it's still around.
Yeah, we need as much revenue as we can into the club.
Concerts, fights, whatever they can. They're gonna. It's what they do best. They're gonna do what they do best. Lease it out, whatever. But we're back to the Man United thing. It's like that's why I sometimes go on a Man United. If you're serious, when that Glazers out thing happened after Brentford, it was a high percentage use. As soon as the Casemiro news broke, the day after, they someone on the stream I was watching said they checked out the hashtag Glazers out 24 hours after Casemiro news was announced. It had been used nearly 50% less after the break. So it's like
Right.
you're just not serious, are you? Like after I keep going to these United fans, you stopped Man United versus Liverpool, right? The game. It got played 2 days later. But what did you do after that? You went, oh, Ronaldo's back. Oh, we got Sancho finally after 2 years of, going after him. But back to the owners, it's like you can't blame the owners for everything. Do you know what I mean? It's just hardly anything at all. They don't put the players out on the pitch. They don't do the tactics. They don't do the training. They're not the players that put in the effort out on the pitch. You can't blame them for that. They buy the players that the manager wants, or supposedly that the manager wants, and then it's up to the manager to input those ideas onto the pitch.
Yeah. So let's address this comment here. So Trev probably leaves. Yes.
Yes.
On
He
loan,
will.
hopefully. On loan, hopefully.
Yeah. Depends on what the money is, I guess, right?
I wouldn't mind if he was sold. I really wouldn't. I'm not a fan.
I said this the other day. Like, what did Tomori go for? Like 30 to AC Milan?
Yeah. 30, yeah.
Okay, so I think Trev's worth every bit of 35 million for me. Because at the time, Tomori really only had he played at Derby. He played like maybe 3 games for Frank before Frank benched him, and he still went for 30. Trev, to me, at least has a full, multiple loans, but a full year at the highest level, playing pretty good. So I think if you were to sell him, I would need every bit of that 35 that you got for Tomori. If not, I'm all right with a loan.
You're hoping if it's Leipzig that they somehow work in conversations for
Gvardiol.
Favorite Gvardiol
and
in Cuckoo, like they have done, like how Werner went for very cheap in the end.
I think they're doing stuff like that just to say, hey, remember us when we come back in for Nkunku next year. We work, and
he's 6 million anyway, isn't he? So it's 6 million buyout clause.
Does he have a clause next year?
Yeah, that's he signed a new contract, didn't he?
Oh, okay.
He's got like a 60 to 80 million.
Yeah,
somewhere around there.
So maybe that's why they've just been working on the player side so hard. Like the last year, basically, they've been They have been working on him for most of the year. But that makes sense.
You sell Trevoh Chalobah, comes back. What's his face at Brighton? Had a year. See how he does. Forgot his name. I do apologise.
Colwell,
Colwell. That was it. It's not deliberate. I just once they're gone online, I don't really care. Do you know what I mean? It's like you're not here. Maybe Colwell does well.
I do think he's a long-term plan for them. I think so. I think he's in their long-term plans.
Yeah,
because you have to seriously start planning long. You have to. They should have done already, and hopefully they are. Because Thiago Silva is not. I think maybe this is. I think this is Thiago Silva's last year. I think this is. And then he's gone. So you got to start planning. Koulibaly will be 32 this season, so you got to plan for that as well. And then Fofana's there. Fofana is the long-term, hopefully main brick of this defense, either in a 4 or a 3. But you then need to start them surrounding them with these pieces as well. So you need to either buy, and I'm fine with that, or you need to see how Colwell does and maybe integrate him. See how he does. But
I heard you talking about the midfield earlier, and I think with the midfield, for me, it's been pretty clear what they wanted to do this summer. I don't think they really planned on having one coming in this summer, but they see a big opportunity to get a guy like Frankie de Jong right now. So they've been pretty much solely just waiting out this opportunity.
Josh, I did read that after the final news that I've read a lot of tweets and some same retweet going, oh, they're now going to push heavily for Aubameyang, Gordon, and they haven't given hope of Frankie de Jong.
I think it's just sitting there. They're waiting to see what he wants to do. They have a little bit of time left. I don't really think. Oh, obviously, they weren't expecting Conte to get hurt this early, but I don't think. They brought Connor. They brought Connor back into this team, so I don't think they really expected this summer to really get a midfielder. But they see an opportunity here to get. These are like once in a blue moon chances, so they just been waiting it out and said, "Hey, you know what? If he does want to go, we'll take him. Obviously, we'll pay the money." They probably had that talk. If they don't, then next summer they'll may probably address the midfield.
Frankie
Well, they
arrives there.
I think they absolutely will next summer. But I really don't think the plan was to address it this year. I think they were going to give Gallagher a chance, and
If the
I
Young
believe that.
arrives, that's Gallagher gone on loan or sold.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, one of them. Well, one of them. So somebody in the team.
That's
Maybe
it, right?
Ampadu
Got too
goes.
many-
Maybe
got too many
Ampadu goes
eights.
on loan. Maybe
Yeah,
Ampadu goes on loan.
Got too many eights.
Yeah.
Oh, not this guy. Jesus Christ.
From Russia with love, huh? Or maybe no love, huh?
No love. No
No
love.
love. Oh, how you doing?
Excited. Fofana is there. Fofana
At
is coming.
last. At last, right? At last.
Yeah, fantastic player.
Yeah, he really is. He was the guy that made us turn down Koundé, by the way, because I think that Tuchel really does like his tall center backs, his big center backs. I think he's a fan of that body type. And you look at his midfield; he likes big midfielders too, because he's getting some big midfielders in there. So,
Yeah.
it's wonderful that that got done, and we can focus on bringing some pieces in before the final window closes. So
I hope this is the last defender for this transfer window.
I'd actually like to see a wing back come in on the right side
Mhm.
because I don't want to run James into the ground and lose him because that's a big loss. I think he's got something like 5 goals and 9 assists and like.
Yeah. He's got the highest, I think he's like, well,
I really think Ruben will be his backup this year, man. I think that's who they'll go with as his backup.
But the problem is,
He won't play like Ruben. Like James will play a lot at right wing back. I mean, he'll play a lot of games, but when they want to give him a break, I think it's Ruben who will play there when they want to give him a break.
Yeah, but probably knowing we aren't going to get a midfielder and the injuries to Kante and Kovacic will happen, I'd probably like to move Ruben into that midfield option more than the right wing back option.
I like him in the midfield better just for me because he's, other than Kovacic, probably the only ball progressing midfielder we have that can beat the press.
He was top 3 in the Premier League last year in dribbles and successful dribbles. So like he is that guy. He is that guy to take players on. Sorry,
I like him. I like him in the midfield a lot more than that wing back.
If someone could just get in his head and just tell him to shoot once in a while, that'd be fine, wouldn't it? You know what I mean?
Or make a pass.
Make a pass in that. It's great. Him and Kovacic. You know what? Him and Kovacic have the same issue.
Yeah,
get to the penalty
and content.
Actually, you know what? Every single 8 at this club has the same issue when they go on a run, when they dribble. They get to the box and they either choose the wrong pass or they don't shoot and they turn it back.
Yeah.
Well, I think at wingback, he's still learning the position for me too. So I think I think after having watched film, like next time he'll know to hit that first time, just put it on frame next time. He'll have learned something like that. I think he still has that midfielder winger in him a bit where he wants to make that extra little step over. But yeah, to me, I put that down to just like he's still kind of learning the wingback position, and I don't know if they'll invest there this summer. Maybe next year, but I don't know, or maybe in January if it's not going well, but not yet.
Well, for me, first of all, let me address this comment here. We're going to be doing a stand by stand rebuild of Stamford Bridge. It won't be a tear down and rebuild process. It'll be a stand by stand. So that's that.
That's how Liverpool have done it.
That's how Liverpool have done it. Yeah.
Also, like
they should accept price increase. Tickets price increase.
Oh yeah, they'll have to.
Well, that's all. That's a little bit different because of the Chelsea pitch owners. I don't know if they have anything to do with the
talking about the price increase based on we're gonna have a limited capacity when we shut down one stand.
Yeah, I don't know how they do that, but the engineering as such is if you're just doing the outside, you could build the outside out and probably still get people in that stand before you actually got into the internals.
Yeah, they'll do one. Yeah, because they're essentially extending the top of each one, aren't they? Essentially, So it's like,
Yeah, they could probably build the framework out of where the new stand will be before they replace the old stand.
yeah, they'll have that. But like I said, like, share, and subscribe to the channel as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, let's do that, folks. Again, I'm not here about the money. I have a full-time job. I know everybody on this screen has a full-time job. So, yeah, it would be great that one day I could do this and not actually have a real job. But right now, this is because I like to have calm, good group discussion on what's going on. Let's address this one from HM. I know he's not my biggest fan, but we can talk about Cho. My honest opinion on Cho going to Leverkusen. He should make that his home. He is not going to make it in the Premier League. So if he wants to do something for a national team, which is now Ghana, not England, apparently, or I don't know if that ever actually
Yeah. I think he made the switch.
Okay, so I think that, look, not everybody can be Chelsea level. And maybe, yes, his injury took a lot from him. I don't know what he would, because there's no way of knowing that, because we're never going to see him without that injury. Because we can't, we can't change the past. So he is going to be what he's going to be. And if he has lost that much pace and quickness, then maybe a Bundesliga, maybe a Serie A, and that's fine. It doesn't mean he's a bad player. He's just not good enough to play for Chelsea Football Club at this point. And I know he has a huge fan base and following. We call him Cho-hos, Cho stands. I used to call him Chodes. It's one of those things. It's fine. It's okay that an academy kid does not play for Chelsea. There's nothing wrong with that.
I think that's what this fan base needs help with. That not everyone at Cobham will be a success. Cobham is a great program, but it also helps players set up for life outside of Chelsea, outside the Premier League, and also outside of football. Because not everyone at Cobham is going to be a professional footballer at the highest level, and not everyone that comes up from Cobham is going to be good. We have had an insane amount of youth players in this squad since 2019. For a top side in Europe, that is insane. Yeah. If you look all around Europe, okay, let's just simplify. Let's look at England. If you deep it, Trent Alexander-Arnold is probably the only one since Steven Gerrard at Liverpool to make it consistently in that team. If you look at Man City, Phil Foden, the same. The only one. Now Phil Foden settled, they're looking at this Cole Palmer kid. Manchester United haven't had a good youth product since the 92 players came in. And Spurs
there was one, but he's not allowed.
Yeah, don't talk about him. Yeah, don't talk about him. Spurs don't really do youth, and Arsenal have only really just started, and they overrate their youth.
Well, anybody at Arsenal,
we took their best one too this summer, by the way. But no, it's one of those things. It's not every player realizes his talent. There's guys like Dele Alli you could just look right at him. He had a fantastic year for Tottenham, and from then on, he's just never realized his talent again. Cho had a really nice start under Sarri, and then got hurt, and just never has really gotten back to that place yet.
Do you think there'll be a buy option?
I think there probably will if it's a good price.
Do you think there would be a buy?
I would put a buy option on that.
How much would you put on?
I'd put £30 million.
That's fair.
I think that's fair.
And that's very fair. That's very fair.
For what player?
For Cho.
Cho.
Yeah.
£30 million, not euros.
Do we have to?
No, I mean, I was asked a price. I don't know if they're putting an option on him or not.
To sell him for free. That's what he was.
I didn't think it was a good sign that he turned down other Premier League loans. Like the thought of wanting to get out of England because the pressure was a bit too much. I didn't necessarily like that as a mentality for him.
Josh, I tell you what, I don't think it's that. I think he looked down on those loans because they weren't like mid-table or top 6 team or something like that. I think they were relegation threatened teams, and he turned his nose up at them, thinking that he's better. That's a theory. That's a theory, by the way.
Hey, Jared, you give Josh some shit for bringing some turkey burgers and some 6-pack of Zima Light.
Was he drinking Zima in the closet?
Yeah,
boys.
He was drinking in the closet.
That's a high noon, man. Come on, now.
Boys, I apologize for being late. I had to go home and put some water in Marvin Dent's mama's dish. Oh, I ain't forgotten, y'all. I ain't forgotten. That motherfucker needs to go suck a big old fat butt for all that negativity he was spewing about Wesley Fofana not coming to Chelsea. Motherfucker, please.
I'm glad I marked this for not safe for children.
Hey, Marv's in a pub in London right now. He does not care about.
Oh, well, yeah, well, he was in a pub. Now he's in the mud. Yeah.
That's why Matt can't be. He's with Matt. Matt was like, I would have wanted to come on, but I'm out with Marv. I was like, hey.
All right, well, I apologize for the reprieve. Now we can get back to the family barbecue. How y'all doing?
Oh man, I'm living life right now, man. I got my car finally all done. It's back.
Well, Jared, I love the kit. That's actually one of my favorite second kits, man. It's so sick.
Yeah, it was a nice one.
Oh hell yeah!
Of course, can you guess who's on back of it?
I'm gonna have to go with Felipe Luis.
Hudson-Odoi.
Yeah, that's even a better guess.
Hudson-Odoi.
Yeah, no, I don't. I own 3 Chelsea kits, and they all have the same person on back.
Hazard, obviously.
He didn't wear this kit.
It's Alonso. That's it.
Yeah, it's Alonso.
Are you're serious?
No.
Okay, I was gonna have to
No.
become a non-citizen of the nation-state of Chelsea once again. I've already done it once this week.
Hey, big up everybody in the comments. Look, we got 36 of you watching. We got 45 likes. If you haven't liked the video, go ahead. If you haven't shared it out, go ahead. This is our call-in show. It's changed a little bit. Seems like not everybody wanted to come on and bring some heat, so we're just going to turn it into a call-in panel show and run with it that way. We're flexible. We're like gymnasts over here. We are flexible.
We just changed formations. That's all mid-game.
We just changed formations. See, we're not stubborn. We can go
flexible.
As Lampard would say, we're delighted. What can I say, man? Hey, Jared, did you get a chance to look at Lampard's comments? He's like a race car in the red right now. He's almost at that threshold of saying no dice on Anthony Gordon.
Well, I did not hear what he had to say, but people have been
100 million. 100 million.
Oh, get the fuck out of here! Come on.
This guy, that's fine. You know, I always take what a manager says live with a grain of salt, because it's designed to deflect, and it's designed to build confidence in the team. So I really don't take for what they have to say as really as gospel.
Frank must not have noticed or read how much of Everton's finances trouble they are in terms of their FFP for the past 3 seasons. So although they bought some players, they desperately need to get some income as well.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead. Sorry about that.
They did sign Mopé today, or like I like to call him Mopey.
Yeah, but Andrew, it's not really time to flex nuts, is it? Because they like oh God, who's the other team that's in front of Leicester? These teams are legitimately in financial trouble. They cannot walk around refusing deals like this. Like, at a certain point, you have to drop your pride. You have to say yes. And I think Brendan Rodgers, look, I get it. He's doing his job. Not for sale. Important player, generational player, not for sale. At the end of the day, dog, when it's a $75 million check and you need that shit, you have to say yes.
But if you notice there, my friend, is it Carlito?
Yeah.
Yes, I thought so.
What's up, Andrew? What's up, man?
Dude, if you notice this, the beginning with Fofana, it was not for sale, and then 3 days later, oh, it's an important player. You know, we're not looking to really sell him. It's the same with Anthony Gordon. They have never said he's not for sale. They just say he's an important player. Blah blah blah.
You'll never get that from a manager. You'll never get that from a manager.
It's like, just listen. We know what it is. It's a poker game, right? It's a poker game. Who's gonna, or who's gonna put their punt card down? I believe it will happen. Whether it's the last day of the transfer window or not, I just can't think you're right. They're going to put a package like with Fofana, because remember we were told it's going to be world record, £85 million, and it's like 70 with a little bit of add-ons. What those add-ons are, nobody knows. Like you said, you cannot. Some of these teams cannot turn this cash down, right? They just cannot do it.
And the other thing I think is that we are front loading this deal, so they're going to get a significant percentage of what we're paying right now, because they're in the mode.
Probably why Leicester accepted less than reported.
Yeah,
they're probably paying a shit ton up front first.
Right, but that's the thing, is that you have all these teams that they'll backload these deals. I mean, this will be rated over time, in installments. But we're like, look, we'll pay you less now, but we're going to give you almost all of it right now because your need is immediate.
Well, it's like an American sports contract, isn't it? It's like,
yes,
give you this guaranteed,
yeah,
and then these add-ons happen afterwards. That's what he's doing. That's what he's doing in transfers. He's doing, we're going to give you all this up front, 50, 60 million, whatever up front, guaranteed, and then whatever these add-ons are afterwards, winning Champions League.
If anybody listened to the Leeds owner's interview that he did, where he talked about the Rafinha deal, and he was like that the Chelsea deal was a million times better, and he was like that's the deal we wanted to take. He's like, the player just and his agent just would not negotiate with the club, so he's like, we kind of came to an agreement with Barcelona that was like okay and feasible, but like he's like, I would have rather, we needed to buy players, so we had to sell them.
Hey, Josh,
so they're definitely giving incredible deals to these owners. And in terms of Anthony Gordon, if I'm Everton, at 21, I don't know if I'm ever going to see 60 to 70 million for this kid, because he's not going to re-sign with us in 3 years. And as every year goes by, the price goes down. So this might be your best chance to get some stupid money for a guy who's 21. I don't really know how they can turn that down, but
no, I think it'll get done. I think even if it's the last day of the transfer window, I think it'll get done.
Josh, the other thing, dude, let's be real, we're good for the money. I mean, if I'm the Leeds owner, I'm going to be nervous for the next 3 to 4 years.
Well, that was the other question the interviews asked. It was hilarious. It was English. It was English interviewers. They go, on September 2nd, what if the check doesn't cash? And he goes, well, then it will be a global story, because he's like, they don't really. He's like, they don't really know either where the money's. He goes, I don't know where the money's coming from, but he goes, on September 2nd, we're expecting this payment from Barcelona.
Yeah, and if you're looking at
with us, there was no worry there whatsoever.
Yeah, but if you're looking at next year's summer, Barcelona is going to be in the same position again next summer. They are not out of the woods on this. This is going to happen again.
No more levers.
They pulled
we
them all.
need more levers.
Yeah, but I was just saying, I wonder if Everton's stance changes with the fact that we've agreed this Fofana deal, and knowing how much we're going to pay, because there'll be talks. They won't. They'll be able to get some type of what did they say they'd offer you up front? Oh,
they're both the same age.
60 million up front, guaranteed, straight away. None of this 5-year bullshit of playing like 10 million a year or something like that. That might change their mind as well. Plus, I think, like I keep saying, Everton are in a financial crisis. That's why there's takeover talks. All right, they are really up against it. They need to produce a lot of turnover in the next a year to 18 months, or else they're going to get points deduction and stuff like that. Seriously, they are in trouble.
Well, and if only somebody hadn't said this on a previous stream with somebody, that if you offered more up front, you would get the thing done for a lesser fee, because they need the cash.
Yep.
It's one thing to have a budget, you could spend this amount of money. It's another thing to have that money on hand to spend.
Yeah.
It's two different things. just because you can do it might not mean you can't. I mean, just because you have the budget for it doesn't mean you can spend it because there's no money there.
We've already gone from reports of 40 million to 60 million since Anthony Gordon links have happened. Reports have gone from that. We've already seen what we're willing to do deals. The Cucurella deal was we paid more so we didn't have to sell Colwell and just send him out on loan. So they're willing to do the deals. It's just, are you willing to not be stubborn and accept it? Do you know what I mean? Because otherwise, you're going to have a player there. It's like Fofana deal had to be done because he's literally on strike. He's training under 23s. This kid wants to go. He knows his Everton, his future at Everton is nothing. You can give him a number 10 shirt, make him the face all you want. He doesn't want to be there. He knows what the future is at that club. It's not that good.
Right.
And you got Rondon up front.
I have a wonderful question in chat. I don't know who this Ryan Beck guy is, but it's a pretty good question. So, yeah, it possibly could be that the Casade, Chucky, as I call him, and
Russian guy.
Is it Arsene?
Arson, I think.
Okay, Arson. Yeah. Cool.
So that's possible, and I want you to tell me who's going to be the holding mid out of those three.
Cesare Casade.
Yeah, no question.
Casade would be the holding mid?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I would love to see him play cup games this year. And I'm not too far off saying with our midfield and now injuries, if Kovacic and Conte get injured,
it's happening.
I don't know. All I'm saying is we might see the triumvirate this year.
They talked about him. They talked about him during the game today, and they still said the idea for him is to bed him in slowly, let him learn the language, the game, the pitches. Like, he's played Italian football his whole life, so like they're just trying to bed him in slowly. But I imagine he'll probably join that PL2 side pretty quickly when he gets his feet under him.
Yeah, the U23s. Is that what you're talking about?
Is that the team that plays in the PL2?
Yeah, I think that's the 23s.
Yeah. Chukwuemeka. I watched Chukwuemeka today. He was awesome in that game.
He's so sick.
Considering the level of competition, he should have had an assist. He was very good.
The issue with your cup games theory is, as we know by the fixtures,
we got City first.
Champions League games first, and the League Cup is literally November 8th or 9th. They get away at Man City. So I think we're not going to see a lot of Casade this season. The Russian, is going. I've heard he's going back on loan, at least till their season ends.
Because they can't register.
Chukwuemeka is probably the brightest. When I say brightest, I mean brightest hope that we're going to see more of him first.
Yeah,
probably in little pieces here and there. Especially, you might see more after the international break when the fixtures are just a clusterfuck.
Yeah, he was on the bench last. He was on the bench last weekend.
Yeah, he was on the bench last week. So you're probably going to see more of him integrated that way. A few minutes here and there, maybe a start. Against like a lower league team or something like that, lower position team.
Or if we actually score 3 or 4 goals in a game,
come on for 20 minutes.
And Andrew, it can't be overstated that nobody in this panel is obsessed with youth promotion.
Oh,
nobody is. No, but that's the funny thing is that like this is actually such an interesting thing that we're doing. As an aside, Andrew, who's the guy we bought from Arsenal?
Omari Hutchinson, who also was really good today.
Yeah. Okay. So all right. So great. So we have Casade, we have Carney, we've got Arsene, we've got Eddie Beach, we've got Gaga,
Eldrick potentially.
Yeah, and so that's like
Brighton's current and future left back.
Sturridge, he played today too.
But what I'm saying is that like I actually think we're buying players that are not to reinforce the academy, but that are actually going to be 3 times as expensive in a couple of years, and we're just preemptively doing this shit now.
Yeah, these aren't academy players. They might play under 23s, but this isn't a Cobham.
No, this is not a Cobham thing. These are future real deal, seismic players.
Yeah, they're spending like 15-20 million on these guys. Like that means they think they're going to be worth like 80-100 million in a few years.
I said to the guys earlier, why do you think this contracts are 6 or 7 years? They're going to spend at least 1 year out on loan somewhere.
That's fine.
That's fine.
I
That's
don't
fine, but
think
that's why
I don't
it's
think
gonna come
Carney's
back.
going to spend any loan.
No,
No.
I think Carney's the most. I think Carney, because he's had the most few games at Villa
Yeah.
last season, he's the most experienced. And
Yeah.
the way Thomas Tuchel talked about him, and the way he's already integrated him into first team training as
Mhm.
well. He's not gone to the under 23s or to whatever. He's
Yeah.
actually in first team training.
It's funny. I
Well-
mean, we've already played against him. You know,
Yeah.
like we played against this kid before. But I really think that the idea. Oh fuck! What was I going to say?
I don't know.
I'm sorry. I
Young
lost.
players for the future, something like that.
No. Oh, so this is actually it. These guys are Anthony Gordon in 2 years. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
this is a $60 million player in 2 years. And so what we're doing is so savvy is that we're ingratiating them into our system earlier and cheaper, knowing full well that these guys are going to be players in the next 2 or 3 years.
It's also so that those summers budgets in 2 or 3 years' time are that we don't have to spend a lot, or that we have one area to spend on, and one big player to bring in, one or two big players to play. Like in a year's time or 2 years' time, or a year's time, talk about the goalie and a centre forward, maybe another defender next year. That's it.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
You know,
the year after,
you know what's crazy? It sounds like Neil Bath has been driving all these signings too, for the most part, in this age group. Like, I think he's been basically spearhead. I think probably Boley went to like all these guys to Tuchel, to Bath, and was like, "Who do you want? Who do you want?" And then they just went, and he got him whoever they wanted. Because it does sound like, I think the one thing maybe holding that Brazilian kid Eldrick up is I think he has like a 40 or 60 million release clause. He's 16 years old.
I don't think it's that high actually, Josh.
Is it maybe not million, but I thought it was pretty substantial when I saw it, but especially for 16.
they want to see him
he's
play
one of those,
first, though, right? They want to see him play first. That's
Yeah.
I think.
well, that he was supposed to. We played them in the Club World Cup, and they kept him on the bench, so we specifically couldn't scout him apparently, which is interesting tactic.
It's so petty.
Right.
Andrew, you know who he reminds me of? How Andrew, you and I are probably same age. I'm 33. You're a little older, right? Yeah. So you and Jared, actually everybody in this panel would know this. This guy, he's kind of got some Romario in him.
Ooh, very underrated player, Romario.
You know what I'm saying?
Even by Brazil, very underrated.
Yeah, I mean, because he was actually so much better than all the accolades he's actually already got.
Him and Bebeto.
Yeah. Bebeto. Remember the baby carrot celebration? Yeah, you remember.
That's not a rude gesture, by the way. That's the baby.
Yeah, no. When I
Bebeto. Yeah.
When I watched him, I was really impressed with like he had like insane pace and also like the ability to stay on the ball. So like he's just really, really quick, and he's got really great feet, and he was strong. He's like strong on the ball too, especially for his age, and playing at the top level in Brazil already. He's a very interesting player if they're able to get him. And yes, Endrick Jr. That's who.
Yeah. Well, because listen, whatever the stories are with Neymar, we missed out on him. Whatever happened, his father was dicking us about. But taking him out to Mills. But if you really think this kid's on the upwards trajectory, like many people think, then you're just gonna have to take a shot, take a punt.
Yeah.
Because what do you lose in the long term, really, if he doesn't make it? You don't lose a lot, really. Do you know what I mean? It's like with most of these young signings, it might be higher prices normally, but not the highest paid is Chukwuemeka, isn't it? About £18 million, really.
Yeah.
Long term, how much is that really? It's not really, you're not losing that much, really, if he doesn't perform. Like
You could sell him for that in the future if he doesn't pan out for you.
Exactly. So you're not losing much.
With Endrick, even if we bought him, he'd have to stay in Brazil because I think he has to be 18 to come over.
Right. Okay.
I think
because he's probably going to get kicked about in that Brazilian league the way they do their
Yeah, but I think he does have to be 18. I think that's where we got in trouble before, that we were bringing in too young of players depending on the country of origin. Well,
I don't know
the
this Russian kid, isn't it? There's reports that they wanted him to.
He has to switch nationalities.
Well, I mean, if he's dual citizenship, it's not that big a deal, right? You just use one passport.
It's not funny, but it's funny. Come on, man.
It's an interesting situation. Yeah, but I think that's something they could work out. Even if, like you guys said, they buy him and then keep him at Dynamo for the season on loan, let it get sorted.
That's what they're going to do. Yeah, I think that's what they're going to do.
It can't hurt. Yeah, I mean, that's not like it's a bad place.
He's been playing for 3 seasons. This kid. It's
Yeah.
not like he's.
He's on. I think he's already broke the national team for Russia, the men's the main team.
All these guys thinking, he's going to come into the youth team and play. He's a first teamer at his club.
Oh, he's going to play. He'll play.
Yeah,
he'll play.
Exciting play. Like, comps are really hard because you really just see the best of somebody, right? But like when you see the best of somebody, you're looking for certain qualities, and he has some really, really interesting dynamics to his game.
He's 242, like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's got De Bruyne stuff, man. I mean, let's be real. He kind of looks like him.
Yeah, he does. He does run like he does quite a bit.
Yeah,
like
just the same stride, right? It's the same stride. Yeah, it's the same stride.
See, that's a guy. That's a guy who dribbles to the penalty area box and does the right decision.
Yeah.
So no, I'd like a player like that, please. No.
Yeah, that would be pretty fun. Have a player like that. Yeah.
My God, he passed it to the right player.
Hey, so I had asked this question, guys. I'm Ryan Beck, by the way. Are you put off by players like Chalobah that demand first team minutes? Now, this was probably a statement from his agent, but as we're obviously looking to loan him, he may even be involved in a deal with AC Milan, who looks like the team that is most interested in him. Is this something that you're put off by, where a player is becoming so expecting and so entitled as to say, I demand first team minutes on a club that is this seismic?
Well, in the words of Eddie Murphy, what have you done for me lately?
For real.
I'm sorry, but just because you went to the academy, just because you had a few good games, does not mean that you get started. You're guaranteed to start for Chelsea Football Club. We have way better players on our bench that probably deserve a run out before you touch the field. And I'm not saying positionally, but in total in the squad. There's a whole lot of other people on that bench that probably have done more for this team to deserve a run out and don't get it. So why do you think, with what you've done, and of course the way you've looked on the pitch at sometimes, like a deer in the headlights, that you deserve first team minutes for Chelsea Football Club? Again, athletes are the top one. Pro athletes are the top 1% of the athletes in the world. We're looking for the top 1% of the 1% that play football.
Yes.
That's just what it is.
I don't necessarily mind. It's then what I mind is, if afterwards you're told the situation, what's your response to that? Do you, knowing that we're buying Fofana, go, it's all right, I'll just sit here and then I'll complain again in 3 months' time? Or do you then actively go, okay, for the sake of my own career, I'm going to actively ask for a move? And that seems to be the case with Chalobah. He's actually looking to actively move, whether it's on loan or permanent. I'd rather that than say sit there and, like I say, complain and then don't do anything about it. That's why I rate, even though I give him shit, that's why I rated Werner for not sitting there on his backside and looking. That's why I rate what Lukaku did. He knew it wasn't working. First chance, got rid of his agent and got out. That's why I rate what Ziyech is doing. If you want to go, go. But listen, it happens. It happens. I think what I would like to get this club back to fans back to a thinking of pre-2019 transfer ban.
Jesus,
that's what I would like that. I would like that because I think the fan base was mentally healthier back then. I'm not saying stupid, but it seems to me it's feelings over facts. Then, do you know what I mean? It's like, I tweeted today because I criticised Kai's interview because I said when he's numbers don't matter, and I said, well, it does when you're a striker, bro, or you're up front. Numbers do matter. And then someone went, why are you being insecure? And it was like,
Andrew, it's that Pandora's box thing, man. It's the Pandora's box thing where
it's like
we let them have this little taste of players from the academy given opportunities in the first team. And here's the
Yeah.
problem with that is that it's because we had to. It is
Yes.
not because we wanted to. It is
Right.
because we had to. It was a necessity move, not a want move. We really, really, really did not want to do this. We had to, but guess what? Now the toothpaste is out of the tube, and now everybody's got a little bit of the taste. All right? Me,
Right.
I do not. I want to go back to buying proper players, and if a Reece James every once in a while comes along, hell yeah, give him a chance.
But I want someone or myself to build a machine where I can like put what if situations in, and I want to put what if the transfer ban hadn't happened and we kept Sarri or got someone else in, because I keep getting told Sarri really rated Reece James, really rated Mount. I call BS on that. I really do. I really
Me
do
too.
call BS.
Oh,
on
me
that.
too.
I
Me too.
just don't believe it, because there's no way he's gone. Oh yeah, Reece James doing really well at Wigan. There's no way Maurizio Sarri has done that. I'm sorry, he just because at Lazio he's buying experienced players. At Juventus he used majority experienced players. Do you know what I mean? So
I have 2 points. I have 2 points on this. First of all,
What you
yes, that was a Janet Jackson song. But if you watched Eddie Murphy Delirious or Eddie Murphy Raw, he does a joke, and that's the tagline. So
Hey,
look up Eddie Murphy Delirious or Eddie Murphy Raw, and you'll get it.
Jared, I have to defend you. Hey, Kunle Alabi, if you're gonna come correct or don't come at all, because Jared was doing a multifaceted joke. Okay, and if you haven't seen Eddie Murphy Raw, then you haven't lived, my bro.
Yeah. You got to see it. I recommend it to everybody.
This
It's
is an experienced man panel. Should be called a manel.
It's a manel. Forget a manel.
Yeah, we have references you guys haven't even heard of.
Woof.
All right, that's what we
Goes
do
over
that.
your head. Whoosh.
So the second point is, I know this because it was reported. Sarri was forced to play Callum.
Yes.
The board told him, "You're going to play him." He didn't want to play Callum. So how do you think that he knew anything about Mason Mount or Reece James at that time?
Yeah, exactly. He watched Wigan games that season in training. He was going, "Wow, he's player of the year at Wigan." Oh my god,
Jared, does that say more about the board? Or does that say more about Sarri's relationship to the board? Because that's a pretty wild move. But you're right, because you're not the only person I've heard that from. I've heard that from dozens of people that Sarri was mandated. Guess what? You're going to play this kid because we need him to sign a new deal.
Right. And
Yeah.
you know what it ended up in is him doing his Achilles. So they all look stupid at that point. But yeah, it wasn't, again, Sarri is not here. We don't know what would have been. That's why I don't like to play what if, because I can't make any of those things. It's like we were having the argument the other night on Sarcasm City. Check him out if you haven't. Flawless.
Yeah.
If could Mike Tyson beat Tyson Fury in his prime? And
No.
And of course, we don't know because they could never fight in their primes.
Yeah.
I still think he would knock his ass out in 1 or 2 rounds. It's because Mike Tyson always fought people bigger than him with bigger reaches. His whole career was that. Yeah, maybe not to that amount, but that he had a style that was crafted to fight bigger men, like Customato. So, you know, this is not that, but it's one of those things you don't know because we can't go back and change stuff. We can't move people forward and back in time to have them meet in their primes. So we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's the answer to that. So I don't like playing those games. All I know is we're hearing now Thomas Tuchel is our manager, and nobody as of yet has come up that has said, "Oh, if Tuchel doesn't do this, Tuchel doesn't do that, we need to get rid." Nobody's yet told me an available manager that would do a better job than Thomas Tuchel.
That's true. That's very true.
I've heard Luis Enrique, Rico Suave, brother, Luis Enrique, and I've heard Hansi Flick. Both of them are not available. even after the World Cup, they're not available.
No way, bro. Those jobs are so cushy, and their players are so good, and those players keep coming.
Yeah.
And neither are better than Tuchel.
No, they're not. They're not.
No.
Although I love Enrique. Great tan, great hair. But I'll tell you what, no, he couldn't. I don't think he could handle this.
So, well, the man came back and said Simon Phillips is reiterating that we are linked with Wilfried Zaha.
Yep.
Yes. This I would love.
Me too.
I love this player.
Is this now because the Aubameyang deal is stalling, not on personal terms, on price? I never
Could be.
try and include Alonso. in
It's
the deal.
definitely a possibility because
I
they
think
probably
that
play a
is-
similar
I
position.
think that is the backup if Aubameyang does not.
Or could it be a Gordon backup?
Maybe.
I think it's the Gordon backup.
You
I'm
think it's
not
the
even,
Gordon one?
Yeah,
Okay.
I do. I absolutely do because I think Aubameyang is definitely going to come. For sure. I mean, I would probably stake my reputation on that one. But as for Anthony Gordon, I said this on Three Yanks and a Brit last weekend when we were talking about, Fofana, PEA, Anthony Gordon. I mean, like, who do you think is not going to come? I was like, I don't think it's going to be Gordon, even though I'd love for Gordon to come. But I think that this is us putting pressure on Everton to either accept the bid or fuck off. And
Right.
if it's fuck off, then yeah, we go for Zaha, and that is where we would absolutely be including Conor Gallagher.
I was about to say that.
Yep, 100%, 100%.
Do you think to drive the price down? Because I think that's
Yeah,
what
well,
they'll try and do. Maybe they'll go 25 million.
Yeah, I would say you get Zaha in the 20 to 25 million range.
On loan or again, or
Anything that you
so.
get for Zaha, you're paying about 20 to 25 million for it.
Yeah.
Right, but
He's worth every bit of that.
But I mean, with Conor Gallagher, who is he has a reputation now after he objectively had a great season. I'm not a Conor Gallagher guy, but he objectively had a great season. With the reputation that he's building, is this something where we could get Zaha for almost next to nothing? If this is a sale, is what I'm saying.
Depends on how bad they want Connor, I guess. But
Again, look at their team. They're not made up of a lot of English internationals, and I know they all those teams want English internationals on their team, or potential English internationals because of, again, European places or marketability within the country.
Sure.
And
We've got an advantage in these deals because we know Frank likes Billy Gilmore as well. We do, right? We know he likes Billy.
He's the only one.
That's well, yeah, you're right.
Well, him and Johnny.
But,
he killed it in training.
Yeah. 5-year deal. He had a fucking
I'm just
banger in the
saying.
second half of Wednesday's training. Hell yeah.
Maybe you'll see that used both those players used in those deals. That is to get the price down.
Yeah.
You can see that, right? Because Gilmore's he didn't extend. We extended Gilmore's deal. It's now 2 years, right?
Yeah.
2 years. He's never going to sign a new deal with us. Never. The way the situation is right now, he's never going to sign a new deal. He's going to wait, walk away, unless we sell him. Put him in the deal. We know Frank likes him. Put him in the deal. Try and drive that price down to maybe 40 or something like that. Give it like that, possibly. And then with Connor, like you said, I would go 15, 20 million max for Zaha plus Conor Gallagher. Probably rate him at 30, at most 35.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
Okay.
That's what I would do. That's right, because we have a surplus of eights.
Right.
Eights at this
And we just
time.
signed 3 of them.
We just
or
Yeah.
Two of them. One
Yeah.
of them's a demon. Come on now.
That's right. That's right.
But then it also removes a block.
Josh and I are gonna die on this hill.
Yeah.
If you're right, it removes 2 blocks from his pack.
Yes.
Again, that would be brilliant if we did that, because
Yes.
Zaha is a finished article. He's got another 2 to 3 years in him at the level he's at
Absolutely.
now. And,
Never seen him in a team like this either. I think he would absolutely eat with all that space he would have. He'd have lots and lots of space in our team.
100%.
He has no
Josh.
space. He has no space at Palace, which is why it's tough for him sometimes. That's why his 14 goals last year, which was his best season, was even more impressive, because it's like there's so little space for him in that team. But in
that's
a team
also
like
'cause they
ours,
surrounded him with
he's in
quality.
acres all day.
Yeah.
They surround him with quality for once as well. in Palace.
Right.
You know,
I mean, yeah, but he did his job though, which is
Eze,
I mean,
Eze,
shit. If we had a winger, if I had a winger get me 15 Premier League goals, I'd be like, all right, dude, that's awesome. I'll
Yeah,
take
he'd be
that.
stuck
Either
to the
the week or
ceiling.
not. Right. Yeah.
If you know, you know. We won't say any more about that.
And if you don't know, now you know.
Yeah, don't Google it. Doesn't
But yeah, for me, Zaha, and I actually think Zaha would play more of a center forward role for us.
Well, I mean, it'd be a free flowing thing like we have,
Yeah.
but just more elevated.
Yeah.
So,
Better
but
talent. Better talent there.
A player that can, if you're up there, that can dribble.
Yeah.
I'm just,
Yeah, that's
He
called
can dribble.
tap-in city for Raheem
Yeah,
Sterling. When you have a guy like Zaha, Sterling's
just
just tapping in crosses all day.
Yeah, or goes forward instead of coming backwards. You know what I mean? His first idea is, how do I get this ball forward in an attacking position? Let's not be a coward and pass it backwards. Do you know what I mean? Stuff like that. Or has the talent to do it anyway. Do you know what I mean?
and he would draw a hellacious number of fouls.
Space to Sterling and whoever else is up there up front.
I mean, look, Andrew, let's call it what it is. He's playing with a better team. I mean, it's only going to make the player better. And the problem is that if you're the best player on a team, you are the focal point of the defensive strategy of whatever team you're playing. But if you're not the best player on a team, but you're a very good player playing on a great team, which is what we are about to have, then you can't target one player, because you can't on Chelsea. With the team that I think we're about to have, you're not going to be able to target and alienate and nullify the efficacy of one player on our team.
Exactly. Which is
so it just means that he's going to have more opportunity, more space, and
or that player has to be.
Yeah, all he has to do is just do his job, and he'll be able to do it a lot easier than he's doing at Palace. Because, dude, at Palace, he's the guy. He is the guy.
I mean, look who you're surrounding with. I mean, he'd have overlaps coming from either Cucurella or Chilwell. He's got runs underneath from Sterling and Havertz, maybe Mount sometimes. He's got guys coming in from the midfield like Kovacic. That he doesn't have talent like this anywhere near that where he's at right now.
Oh no! I agree. They're not the same as Palace. It's just I was saying they got better, and he got because like you said, although he was the main man at Palace, they had other options, and they allowed him to get 14 league goals. By the way, not 14 goals in the season. League goals.
Way more impressive.
He's already got 3 this season.
Yeah, he's looked great. He's looked great to start the season. He really has. He's been awesome.
So, and by the way, that's a record for a winger in a team outside of the top 10.
Hey, Andrew, do you know who Andres and Zach are with Roman's Empire Pod? You ever heard of them?
No.
Okay, American Pod. They've been around for a little bit. I had Zach on 2 years ago when I still had my podcast, and I still cared about that shit. And this was before we signed Timo Werner. And this was when Zaha, I think, was 27 years old. And he was quoted at $80 million. And I was like, if we sign one player, it has to be Wilfried Zaha. It has to be Wilfried Zaha. And Zach had come on, and he's like, no, I think we should sign Timo Werner. It's perfect. He's so fast. It's perfect. And I think, on no lie, I think two months later, we did sign Timo Werner. And I always think back, and I'm like, what if we had signed Zaha? Because, I mean, shit, man. I still think he's a great buy. I still think he's one of the best wings in the country. I do, even at 29, because he's obviously taking care of himself a lot. I mean, you could just tell he's taking care of himself. He wants longevity in his career. He knows that he can run down this contract that he's currently in and still have stuff to give after this year. And I just feel like this is a very low risk, high reward move. Now, I do think the deal should be Conor Gallagher plus 15 million euros. That is what I think, because I do think that Conor Gallagher objectively, not me, but objectively should have a higher valuation than that.
Well, he's got more years left on his deal, so
and that. Because that's security. That's security for the buying club. That is security for the buying club.
Also, he represents Ivory Coast, who are not at the World Cup this year as well.
Wow, this is just so low risk. It's so low risk, Andrew.
It's low risk. You sign him up for 4 years, maybe.
Yeah.
One, maybe something like that.
Yeah.
takes him to 33 on the edge of 34.
Are we calling this a player option, Andrew?
Well, that's what they're doing. I keep reading 6+1.
Yo, how cool is that? I love how American we're getting to this bitch.
Well, I'm fine with it. I think whatever. But I don't care. I'm fine with everything.
No, I want these,
agree,
Andrew. I want
agree.
these deals long term, man. I want long term deals for Reece James.
I'm fine. It's like, oh, you gave Koulibaly 4 points. Shut up, man. It's a long term.
Get the
deal.
fuck out of here!
Get
Come
the
on.
fuck out of here, man. Or give him 6-year deals. Yeah, because we don't then have to negotiate till like 4 years in.
Exactly right.
That's
we don't
fine.
want this bullshit anymore, dude.
Exactly,
We want a stress-free summer with players because we have them signed for a while, so we can just focus on the damn football and maybe bring in 1 or 2 players a summer.
We got this guy on a 4-year deal at 200K and have to renegotiate in 2 years' time after. So we don't want that. But I'm fine with that. Listen. That's why I think we do hold advantages.
Yeah.
I'm sure if we had Colwell still, we would have got the Fofana deal done quicker.
So
Do you know what I mean? It's stuff like that.
Right. So here's one thing that just came to mind that maybe I know it's not really in the normal footballers or football fans' mind, is that I don't think these salaries have escalators in them. So how much do you think salaries are going to be for these type of players in 7 years? It's 5 years, 3 years, and we've got them locked in at a rate based on this year's market, not 3 to 4 years down the road when there's a renegotiation of the EPO, TV broadcasting deal. There's only been one for the UCL. So the salaries for these positions, for these players, would be, add 50% maybe.
Guys, can we stop for a second? I just want to acknowledge the question that Jared just asked, because I've been on many streams. No one has ever posed this question. Jared, I want to say, now you're my friend, so I'm a little biased. That was a fucking brilliant question. We are locking these guys in at a set salary, not a salary that adjusts to inflation, a set salary that is uninhibited by the market. Unbelievable, unfucking believable question.
Right, you got to be like, is 200K a week right now sound like a lot of money? Yes, but in 4 or 5 years, 200K a week is going to be like, dude, you believe we have Reece James on 200K a week? Like, it's such a steal, Like,
I also think the next revolution in watching football will be a subscription type Netflix, Amazon deal where you either buy a full season ticket or you just buy your club's games. I believe that is coming in because we unless we change our VPN, I can't watch. Unless I go on somewhere else to watch 3 p.m. games. I believe that's going to change soon because all this bullshit. Oh, people won't turn up to games. Bullshit. They will turn up to games at 3 p.m. It always happens. Okay. I believe that deal's going to come in next 5 years, maybe a bit longer. And also, Amazon are going to get in the race. I think they're going to show Champions League games soon on Amazon.
So what's the hold on? What's the contract with CBS Sports and Paramount Plus for these Champions League games?
It just got renewed.
Oh, is it okay?
Okay, so definitely be wary of that.
Yeah, but I know that Amazon over here shows some of what Paramount does. So I think they might try and work a deal internationally where Amazon will show some Champions Leagues. I don't know whether it's this season or an upcoming season.
Well, there's cross-pollination. There's cross-pollination for certain things like Paramount. The biggest property Paramount has is Yellowstone, and yet it is Peacock that carries it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So there's deals that were done before the streaming wars came into a real big head. So there is this cross-pollination. I think that will get sussed out.
Yeah,
and that would be, Andrew, you got to think that would be sort of a test demo for Amazon to see if it was worth buying at that point. It'd be like, we'll do like 10 matches a year. They'll see how it performs, and then they'll be like, all right, we'll buy it.
Yeah. Josh, they get the regular 2 rounds of the Premier League in December, usually early December, then the Boxing Day, Christmas days. So, and also over here, Yellowstone is on Paramount Plus and Amazon over here. So it's one of those. I think it will change internationally. They'll be able to distribute it differently because they have like on Amazon over here. They show like the tennis tournaments. I know they show over here. They show the Thursday night NFL.
Yeah, they do that. They do that here in the States.
Okay, but they show like different things. So they're going to get into the game.
Yeah.
They're going to get into the game because they're going to see, because they probably saw their viewing figures for the EPL games, like some of the biggest things they've ever seen on their platforms. So, you know.
Again, think that the people who invested $3 billion in Chelsea, which
Actually,
Chelsea is not
it's
worth
five.
$3 billion, by the way.
actually-
They're not.
Nowhere
And they've taken in that contract that they can't pull money out within 10 years.
Yeah.
So they're playing the long game, knowing that by time that they're ready to pull money out, Chelsea will be worth $15 billion.
Yeah.
And their shares that they bought at a $3 billion level will be worth 5 times that.
Right.
So they're doing money on their calculator and going, guess what? Not only can do these shares worth this amount of money, but this is the amount of money we can borrow against them.
Yeah, I mean,
Finance other
Andrew. Full disclosure, my father was the general manager for CBS at our local affiliate, and so what he knows and what he's obviously the conversations we had is that the thing that is keeping television alive, traditional television, is live rights.
Right.
So you will have the CBSs, the Foxes, the whatevers. They will overspend a significant amount because they know if they don't get the games, they're fucking done. They're done. So they will overpay. They will continue to overpay until they can no longer overpay. And then in 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, then it will only be the streaming game, but not until then. Not until then.
Right. Well, you got to think like the live game experience. Like that's when they can guarantee eyeballs for advertising. So like
they can charge whatever they want for advertising. They can charge whatever they want.
Right, because when you're just streaming, like you can't control when people watch your show, how like where they consume it at, like. But for these 90 plus minutes for this live event, like you're gonna have this many eyeballs. You can charge any price for advertising.
100%.
Over here, they'll obviously they do the international deals and domestic deals, which I think I may be thinking that they sold maybe the British domestic deal to Amazon to do the Champions.
I'm sure they did.
But what I'm saying is that over here, it's not only like the regular, as you know, regular league games are not on terrestrial television, such as free to air. So I believe when the next deal comes up after this one, I believe Amazon may go heavy, and try and get them because they've already got one. They've already got two. They've already got one package. It's like 5 or 6 packages. It's like a secret bidding thing. You know how it works. It's like because BT were rumored to obviously, I think the Zone wanted to buy BT Sports because BT don't really invest in that anymore. They don't, stuff like that. So it'll be really, really whether they go in hard for that. I know Sky will, but it'll be really interesting whether BT go hard in for that as any type of package whatsoever. But it all depends. I still see maybe Amazon maybe stepping up their game and buying 1 or 2 more packages or something like that.
Jared, what do we got?
Well, I don't have much more. It's getting close to my dinner time.
I got that last question. We got to have that last question.
Sure. We can run this at the last question, folks. Should Mason Mount... And this is steak right here, bro. This is steak.
Bro, this is Chateaubriand. Don't get it twisted.
This is prime filet mignon.
Yeah.
Should we bench Mason Mount? And Ron, it's your question. I'll let you start.
I'm gonna finish.
Oh, you want to finish?
I'll start. I'd say no, but I need to see a change of shape to keep him to justify him on the pitch. Not in this formation. I think in the 4-2-2, I think as one of the twos, he's a valuable player on the pitch. But right now, as an attacker, he is, I would say, been underperforming. And I don't know how many games in a row you want to continue to play guys who underperform. Because now you're setting a precedent, right? So now the precedent for bad games is 3. We'll see what happens tomorrow, who plays. But if he starts tomorrow and plays bad, well, now the precedent for bad games is 4. So now you got, when you give somebody else a chance, you got to give them 3, 4, 5 games to prove themselves. So for me, I think he's an asset in a 4. He's on my teetering for a bench, maybe in a 3.
Andrew, I'll let you go next here, bud.
Clear the helipad for Josh's answer just there. Come on, Josh. Come on. Listen, yeah, drop him. I don't see any difference in him and Havertz in terms of their play. I drop either of them. I don't give a fuck. Drop both of them for this game and give them a kick at the backside. You know, I don't listen. I don't. This whole we've got no other options. That's part of me. That I blame Tuchel's stubbornness for that excuse about not having other options. He hasn't earned. Listen, what did we say earlier? What have you done for me lately? Last season happened. So what? Over and done with. What are you doing for me this season? And this season, he hasn't shown anything really. I'm not going to hype players for running about on the field. That is the minimum requirement.
Thank you. Say that again, Andrew. Say it loud for the people in the back.
I don't
For the people in the back.
I don't care. Listen, you can press all you want. What do you do when you get the ball after pressing? That's what I want to know. I don't care. It's like that. Eden Hazard was a terrible trainer. But on the pitch, goddamn magician. Yeah, goddamn magician.
Not known for his pressing either.
Exactly, not known for his pressing.
He was not known for his quick walking.
I would love to see Prime Eden Hazard, because Prime was when he was with us. I don't care what anyone says. I'd like to see his face if Tuchel was to tell him you need to press more. What his facial expression?
Yeah, he got the exemption from Mourinho on that, didn't he?
Yeah, did you guys see Rudiger's thing the other day where they asked him about Hazard and he said Hazard told him that Chelsea hadn't called him yet, but he's like, but he was just joking. He's like,
so
no, but bench him fine. Bench him fine.
Yeah.
I think do you know what? Listen. If I had a good enough backup. For me, like I said earlier, guys, and you just said, I'm fine with replacing Mendy. It's who you got coming on for him that I've got a problem with. Do you know what I mean?
I understand.
I'm fine with benching any one of these guys. I am not attached to these players emotionally.
Me
I'm
neither.
not feeling over facts. Previous
neither.
teams I was because of what they've done, because they did it season after season. They earned my loyalty, my trust, and my feelings towards them. Okay, these guys haven't yet. Whether they will is up to them. But I'm not emotionally. You can bench anyone. I don't care. I'm not going to care.
You're not going to bench Kova for me, bud. No way.
Well, listen, you won't need to because he won't be available for.
Oh, you killed me! You killed me! Oh!
It's fine. You won't need to. It's all right. You won't need to bench him.
Andrew's talking about for the other 30 games a year.
I fucking walked right into that. Oh, brutal.
That was a softball, man.
So here's my take on Mason Mount.
Oh man.
Kai Havertz and Mason Mount should not play in the forward line together. They're the same exact player. I think, however, Havertz is more dynamic, doing the things that Mason Mount does well. He's taller. He's more physical.
Yeah.
He's faster. I think he reads the game better in the forward position than Mount does, and so his runs are actually better. I don't actually see Mount make a whole lot of runs.
It's because he can't.
So yeah, he's slow too. By the
Slow.
way, so you can't play those two in the attacking positions together. I've been saying this for over a year. I get roundly criticized all the time for it, but I happen to be correct on this. It's either Mount or Havertz, not both of them. So
you can't play both wide either at the same time.
No.
You can't
Oh boy.
So for me, it's got to be Havertz because he's more dynamic of a player.
Yeah.
Play him this weekend with Pulisic and Sterling because
Agreed.
Pulisic is the first option off the bench.
Yeah.
So you put him in there, you move Mount to the bench and say, look, you're going to hold bench until one of these other guys show they can't do it. If Havertz is having a bad game, you yank Havertz off and you put Mount in that position. It's as simple as.
Right.
I know people don't like to hear that because he's supposed to be the star boy. I'm sorry. If you're a star boy and you've gone scoreless and haven't done anything really in 3 games, the only type of star you are is a falling star.
Yeah.
Right. And I feel like again, like you're setting a precedent now. If you're Tuchel, like, so if you continue to play, so if he plays tomorrow, and whether he does well, if he does well, great. Obviously, we all want him to do well.
Yes.
If he has another bad game, though, now you've played him 4 games in a row where he hasn't performed. So now any other player that you bring on to replace him gets a 4-game run at least, because they have the same chance. They should have the same chance as mounted in that run up. So,
all right. So, number one, people need to stop attributing the Weeknd's brilliant song "Starboard" to Mason Mount, because the Weeknd doesn't like Mason Mount either. Ain't nobody on this panel rooting against Mason Mount.
Nope.
There's no. By the way, an agenda is not a conspiracy. Just so anybody in the UK knows, you're using the word agenda in a malapropistic way. It doesn't mean a fucking conspiracy. It's an agenda is a to-do list. Anyways, this is not a conspiracy against Mason Mount. Everybody wants him to do well. The problem is that he's not doing well. The problem is that he's an average player. The problem is that I don't particularly think he should even be on this team. I think that he tries hard. That's not enough for me. Andrew alluded to this earlier today. He presses. He tries hard. That's not enough for me, dude. That's not enough for me. Okay? Patrick Beverley is not going to get, at 33 years old, a 5-year, $220 million contract from the Lakers because he fucking tries hard. Okay? That ain't happening. I don't care that you try hard. I care that you try smart and what you do with the ball once you've tried hard and gotten it. Okay? Eden Hazard, my favorite player to ever play for Chelsea. My favorite footballer ever. Now I hate him. Okay? But there was a time. And he was lazy as shit. But guess what? When he got the ball, he made up for all of it. Mason Mount, when he gets the ball, he does nothing with it. In fact, every single time he takes his first touch, it's back into pressure. Watch, because he can't elude any pressure. He's not fast enough. All right? So, end of the day, this is what we do. We go with Pulisic. We go with Kai. We go with Sterling. If one of these three players is not doing it, we throw Broja in. And let Broja just bang. Just let him bang. Let him run around. Let him do his thing. Because Broja's hungry, man. And he trained. He's not injured. He can do it. As for Mount, sit his fucking ass on the bench. That's it. I can't do this anymore, man. I can't. Dude, Frank Lampard was 2.5 years ago. I can't do this anymore. Okay? Mount has not shown that he deserves to play on this team. Because all he does is press, and all he does is say, hey, look at me, coach. Look at me, coach. Look at how hard I'm trying. But, brother, is there any sizzle to that steak? No, that's just rump roast bullshit. Okay? You can't con me. Because I've actually coached this shit. And I actually did play at a high level. And I can I can see a fraud from a mile away. And you, sir, are one of them.
We're going to leave it at that. I mean, you can't end better than that. Mr. Ryan Beck, folks, a.k.a. Carlito.
Fuck yeah.
So I'm going to thank my two panelists remaining and Josh for coming on. Alex came on for a little bit. Look, we had an audible. You know, we called for the relief pitcher today because we didn't have much movement from y'all in the chat to come on and do your barbecue thing. We're gonna run this out try to do this every Friday. Run this out, and it will catch on, and y'all will understand the rules. But I appreciate Andrew. I appreciate you coming on and filling in. Ryan, as always, you're my guy. You know, I take tactical knowledge from you.
Love you, Jared. You're the best, man. You're a very, very gracious Chelsea fan, Chelsea, just partner, man. I love doing stuff with you, brother. You're a great guy.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it. And I right back at you. I appreciate you coming on.
Anytime, man. Anytime.
I love having you because you bring the tactical knowledge that some people need to hear sometimes. So, and Andrew, always honest. Doesn't matter if people agree with your opinion. You're always stay true to what you think.
I don't care anymore.
He doesn't give a fuck anymore.
I just don't care anymore. You know what? Listen, I like going on streams only day with 8 people, listen to them rumble on. But I really genuinely like these type of streams.
Yeah.
Where we can, where we can hear each other, we let each other finish the sentences before jumping on.
Oh.
No, I don't. I like it because of the spectator sport early in the stream. So nothing against those streams, but I like these ones where we can.
Andrew,
really
we're never gonna be the type that doesn't allow people to finish their thoughts. I mean, it's just not going to be that way. This is why I talk with Jared and Josh about this type of stuff. We really just want something where if people have something to say and they deserve to have something to say, you let them say it.
Yeah. That's why I like the early streams all good, but Jester's doing good things here. Already like over 200 subs in less than a week, something like that, which is only 2 or 3 videos, which is awesome. You know what I mean? And he gets because of the time he's at, he gets to do it at a later time as well. gets
Right.
gets the viewers in. So and like I said, it's different. It's just different. You know what? And we're not saying we don't like your opinion. Might not agree with it, but you don't agree with ours. But like Jesse said, he's going to do this every Friday. This is your chance. How do you think we all came onto are doing this anyway? We just took a chance. Just went onto a StreamYard link. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
We all did the same. We're the same as you. We're not anything special.
Oh, there ain't no rule book on this, man.
Ain't a rule.
No,
Man. It's
not-
just
not
like
at all.
jumping on and speaking to your friends, essentially. You know what I
Right.
mean?
And I always like to wrap up with talk about the chat. Everybody in chat, thank you for your time. There's plenty other people you could go watch, but you chose to watch me, and I really, from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate it. We're gonna keep at this. It'll get better. There will be more graphics. It'll be fun. Y'all will catch on with the new concepts. It'll be awesome. You'll have a great time. And I truly do value each and every one of you that gave up your time to be with us tonight.
Yes.
Because again, you had choices to do other things, and you chose to be here. And I would do this with 0 people in the audience, but it's better when there's participation, right? Because I just like talking. But,
hey, Jared, don't need no credit card to ride this train, man. All you need to do is watch.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we're gonna end it there. We got a big game tomorrow. Let's hope we put our best foot forward, and we're coming on to three Yanks and a Brit with positivity, going for fire, going in for Tuesday, and get ready to do the things that we do at Chelsea, because it's a Chelsea thing.
Back-to-back wins, and suddenly our season looks totally different.
There you go. All right, everybody. Y'all have a great night, great day wherever you are in the world, and stay safe. We'll talk to y'all next time.
See you guys.